I'm good.
Good. So, CEO, Hop and Go Tours. And when did you start the company?
So Hop and Go Tours started, I would say it's on paper, it started in July 2019. And then I was like, okay, cool, I'm opening it up. And it started in February. But then again, also COVID started in February. So it was like open, close. But really, like, our first tour happened September of 2020. So I would say since my first ride is September 2020.
September, that's when you got your very first customer?
September's first customer, September 2020.
Okay, so how did that go down? Because it's a pandemic, you can't really advertise that well. So how are you picking up the customers?
Well, I use what I think a lot of first timers use is Groupon. And she came through Groupon and she actually called me at like 12 o'clock at night. Now, you know, we're on my website, it's super professional. And so I'm like, all right, cool, call center, you know, call them, whatever. And then she's calling me on my cell phone. I'm like, ma'am, you know what time it is? 12 o'clock, what are you doing? But she was like, oh, I'm trying to book a tour. I'm thinking, ma'am, it's 12 o'clock. Why are you trying to book a tour at 12 o'clock? And then we ended up talking. And she ended up saying, hey, I just want a tour. I'm coming in town. Just want to see something, thinking about moving. And I want to see the sights. And so pretty much she booked the tour. Didn't know how it was going to go. Like I said, you can always plan something, but does anything ever go according to plan? No. So I got my first tour and she was my first customer, which I was excited about.
So Groupon was your first outlet online of gaining customers.
Mm-hmm.
What's some other tactics you use to utilize it online?
So of course, you know, you run social media ads, and that's pretty much what I did. And a lot of my ads were like shock factor. So it was, you know, a guy devouring some Atlanta food, like just like this burrito. It was so good, but he was devouring it. And then like I said, I came from the broadcasting world, so it's like I love that shock factor. And so a lot of people were coming and talking about it and things like that, like, oh, who was that eating that food? But I'm like, you know, it's the guy. And so like I said, social media ads was also a good one. And yeah, and my Facebook and things like that. So I just kind of start off with the basics of what I knew.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So with social media, so we're gonna get into that because you have gotten, I think on Facebook, I've seen that you received a grant.
I did.
To help with your business online. So
I did.
And you did all this online, right? So how did that?
Yeah, so the grant situation came about because I was, of course, like, how do...
Facebook grant?
This was a Facebook grant. This was a Facebook grant. So Facebook was just asking people, and I thought everybody had seen it. So they were just asking people, hey, you know, you have a business, you need some money, you need money for marketing. And I'm like, all right, cool. And pretty much that's what I did. I just applied. And people think it's so difficult to apply for grants. And it's really like, who are you? What is your business about? How much are you looking for? What's the direction? You know, how passionate are you about fueling this? And so that's pretty much all that it was. And then I just wake up with some money in my account. I'm like, oh, shoot, that worked. And and that's really how it went. It's just applying. You're fine. So it probably took about 2-3 months, 4, something like that. I don't remember because they kept sending emails and saying, you know, this information is not right, and you know, having to link up business accounts. It was a minute, but it wasn't that long though. So I got it when I needed to get it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Social media ads. How long have you ran them? Have you been familiar before with anything else? So you started everything with online business with Hop and Go too.
So everything, of course, was online. I mean, there was no need to do overhead because I didn't know exactly what I was doing, you know? So of course, when I initially opened the business, you think of all these things that you want to do and where you want to put it and things like that. But a lot of people don't even understand, like Amazon started from the home. Source music, records started from the home, or magazines started from the home. So I was like, cool, the home is where it's at. We still need to have a major building right now when I don't even know what I'm doing. So I started just running a lot of ads and asking my friends on social media how they felt about just the videos I was putting out, because I like a lot of shock factor. Like, I like for people to really understand quick what they're getting into, what it's about, and just maybe just being a little extra about it. And so I just started running after social media. But it's a game with that situation, because you never know what's gonna hit, what's not hitting, what's working, what's not working. But I'm not really, I'm still working on mastering that. It hasn't hit yet, but it's coming.
What's been your top ad? Was that the guy?
I think the top ad was the guy devouring the guy with the shirt off, acting like he's working out and he wants some food, and it's just like, it represented my food tour, because it has like so many different elements to it. And you can get sweets, you can get Mexican food, you can get African food, you can get all types of food when you come to Atlanta. And I mean, I felt like that was just that shock factor. Let them eat it and see how the women do it, because that's my demographics, is Black women. And so they really took to that, which was really good.
That type of...
You know what? I did try to do more, but I think with the girl, because the guys was like, I don't want to watch that. God, no, eating food, no. But the women loved it. The guys, I was like, okay, let me shoot one for the guys. And it was so over-sexualized. I went too far. The girl was a really pretty girl. One of my friends, big booty, nice shape, cute, whatever. But we did so much, and we were like, oh my God, this is like a freaking food porno. But it was too much. So I was like, no, we're not gonna do that. Because somebody was like, it looked like a porno. So I was like, nah, we are not going to put it out. Because we had an African location who had some vegan food or something like that. And then it was some ranch. And then we poured the ranch onto the chicken and acted like it was too much. And I'm like, no, that we can't do that. So when I looked back at it, I was like, ooh, that looks like a porno. So
You still got it.
I still have it, but it was just
You want to air it today?
it was too much.
We gonna air it.
It was too freaking much. And my son was like, don't do that. And I was like, you want to present yourself professional, and the kids, parents are not gonna buy that. So we didn't even run that ad. It was too much. Right, because it was like the girl walking in, booty shaking. Because I'm like, you could, but I wanted a family element. Of course, the day tours, you can have all, the young kids come, and I didn't want somebody thinking my business was like a sexual business. So I just didn't run the ad. I was just like, I'll restructure it later.
You hired guys like that to run your tour? Since you said
No. Do you ever go to Progressive and see the lady who does the ads? No, you just.
No. The men that you put on there.
No. I mean, I just feel like when you see those, if you want to relate it to something, when you see the women and the men in the video, you're coming to Atlanta. Atlanta's like the Mecca. Everybody's here, beautiful Black men and women and beautiful people here. And so, of course, you can possibly see them if you go to a restaurant and they're there, but no, they are not on the tour. No, I give the tour. If there is a naked man on my bus, I'm gonna be so upset. But no, he is no. Because the tour, like I said, the tour is really, really intricate. It has a lot of information, and I'm pretty sure.
How many restaurants you have on there?
The restaurants I have.
Yeah, so let's back up. So how does it work with you partnering with other restaurants? Are you doing this?
Okay, so let's break it down like this. So Hop and Go Tours is a fully immersive hop on, hop off sightseeing experience. So you really get to see everything that you've seen on social media, on Facebook, on in the history books, on my tour. And so it's pretty much just bridging everything together. It's pretty much bridging everything together, from landmarks to food to culture to street art, history of Atlanta, all together, right? So we just decided to do different things because Atlanta is so filled with many different things that, of course, it's really difficult to do all in one day. So we broke it down into day tours. Of course, we want to do a day tour. We have just majority of the sites. If you want to have lunch, we have food on it. Right now, like I said, it's still in its growing phases, and the restaurants that we wanted to get are really, really big right now. So I haven't been able to capture those, but I still have a plethora of other restaurants in Atlanta that that really bring the food. They bring the vibrant essence of the authenticity of their culture, like especially like the African food. And so that's really what people really come to do, is get something different. Of course, it's Southern culture. They want the fried chicken, they want the yams, they want the macaroni and cheese. We have that too. We have that too. And we kind of just cut down on being in those lines for so long. Like I said, when you go on social media, like Slutty Vegan, her lines are forever backed up. So we try to find alternative places until we can actually get those restaurants on the tour. We find alternative places that still offer the amazing food at a probably a lower cost, but it's still the things that you've seen on like the Food Network shows. So we still bring that same vibe to it. So it's right now it's probably like 3 or 4 restaurants, but we go to a really popular dining spot. I can't really say because that's what you got to book the tour for. But we have to. It's a dining hall where a lot of people go and eat, and there's all these different elements to it, and people really vibe out to that.
So, what's a company that you reached out to and that you really want to work with?
I think a lot of the companies that I've wanted to, I get a lot of customers asking about Slutty Vegan. Slutty Vegan Pinky Cole has made a way for Black entrepreneurs, like foodies that you would never even think of, the face of the veganism movement. And a lot of customers, they call me, but I'm not able to fulfill it only because, like I said, I'm new. Her business is skyrockets further than what I am right now. And so I'm just not able to offer that at the moment. So we have, an alternative vegan restaurant, but it's not exactly hers. And then also her restaurant is closed majority of the time that we have tours. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning I start. So her restaurant sometimes isn't open on Mondays or Tuesdays, or they open up at 5. So that's also another issue, is the timing. So it's not bad. It's just probably happening later on down the line.
So a restaurant is similar to something.
Like I said, the thing about this tour is it's really rich in entrepreneurship. So the people that bring their skills and their authenticity to Atlanta are the people who we really want to explore. So with our African restaurants called I'm not supposed to say that. With the African restaurant, they have the jollof rice, they have cassava fries, they have the stuff that people really want, that people don't think of, just trying something different. But their food is really rich and really tasty, and it's just it gives a different variety to just the regular fried chicken, but they do have the fried chicken. They have everything. Like I said, the culture food is really one of the favorites. World Taste. Yeah. So there's several, because we have it's all what people request. It's all what people request, because sometimes if they want I actually stopped doing this because I don't give people, I'm giving free promos, what I've learned I'm doing. We do have a vegan restaurant, Shishi Vegan. We go to her sometimes, but it all depends on what they're asking for, because sometimes people do not want to get out of their element. Like the reason why I opened up this tour is because Atlanta is filled with so many different people, so many different things, it has so many different elements to it. And the fact is, it's more than just fried chicken. Now it's crack wings. You know what I'm saying? Now it is, now it's Indian food, it's Mexican, it's Asian, it's all these different elements that added to Atlanta's food culture, just in one. So just the essence of us doing that, people gravitate to, but then again, people just want to stay in their element, So we try to bring something different to the table when it comes to exploring different cultures. If you love art, we have art, street art, graphics, we have all that type of stuff. So somebody who was like an engineer, she loved what was the Atlanta Hawks feature that was in front of the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So it's every type of lover of culture and history that we bring to the tour.
And you do most of it.
I do all of my tours. So here's the thing about this, right? So because I wanted to be super, super professional about my stuff, right? And a lot of people don't even know this, and I don't like saying this, but my customers are very diverse and different. So to be different, I answer the phone is either Alex or Robin. Now my name is Alex Robin, but none of their business, they don't even know that. So I answer the phone, hey, thank you for calling Hop and Go Tours. This is Alex, how can I help you? And then I get on the tour, I write them. So once you book, I send you an email saying, hey, your tour guide is Robin. Now, like I said, because you want to make us, let me tell you something. You have to big up your company way more than what everybody else does, right? So and you have to do that because it's like, damn, you don't want to make it seem like you're a new startup company. Yeah, I mean, because like I said, it's about bringing, sometimes people don't care where you started. Some people don't care about all that. But for me personally, I care about giving the ultimate customer service experience because that's what's going to separate you from another business is what you're bringing to the table. And so when they call me, I'm like, hey, this is, thank you for calling Hop and Go Tours. This is Alex, but your tour guide is Robin. They don't know that. So what I do is I just introduce them when I pick them up. I'm Robin or I'm Alex, whatever person I call on the phone. It's not like they're gonna remember my name. And so that's pretty much how I roll it. But some people like, oh, you sound like the girl on the phone. I was like, yeah, that's my twin sister. That's my twin. Yeah, she runs the back end and I run the tours. And so she's like, oh, yeah, and here's the thing. Here's the thing that I've learned. You have to, I want to see what people say about me, right? I want to see how people have taken the steps from, the customer experience. I want to see how they really understand how I've set things up. And so they're like, I'm like, yeah, how was Alex? Like, how was she? As Robin. And they're like, oh, she was great. She told me about this, that, and the third. She told me where I wanted to go. She told me what I wanted to do. I was like, oh, yeah, that's... No, it's like in the back of my mind, I'm like, it's me, And then some girls, they're like, oh, you look like her. But now that we wear the mask and, some people can't really tell. And they're like, oh, is this you? I'm like, that's my twin sister. Because I don't want, you know what I'm saying? People come for an experience. They come to hear the history. They come to see. So I don't really need to put myself out there as, hey, I'm the owner, Black owner, and it's a woman running the business. So, and that's kind of how I, think about it. So yeah, I mean, that's how I run it. So when they write the reviews, they'll say, oh, it's Robin or it's Alex. Either way, so I can have different people. You know what I'm saying? Like, right? Because now I have to keep up with this. But like I said, you get the same amount of customer service that you would get anywhere at a high-end company. So that's what I wanted to do.
Have a separate page for Hop and Go?
Yeah. Oh, everything is up. Everything is up.
So I'm gonna ask you that again. You talk about it. So you have a personal page and a business page, or you have just one page?
No. Like I said, I don't really want people knowing I'm running it. I don't really care for the accolades of it. I just want people to understand. I want people to have fun with what I have fun with. So I kind of like project that. And so my personal thing, I go off on my personal page. You don't really need to see that. That's what and my personal page is private. So yeah, no, it's all professional. And when people are on booking online, they'll go to my page and they'll say, oh, she is, okay, this is at the third. And so I want them to know it's just super professional is what you're gonna get. And it's a fun thing. So yeah, personal is definitely separate from my business. I don't want nobody like, oh, she's in all my business. No.
That's a smart thing to do. Just, keep it separate, keep it personal and business separate. Have you ever had any issues? Probably not.
No.
I ain't about to
No.
hire you because I seen this on your personal page.
No, I mean, because you gotta think people don't think about it like that. Like people, yeah, people. Like I said, you're coming for the experience. I don't I'm just the vessel who offers the experience. They don't really care, sometimes they do, but I don't feel like people really care about that. There's no need for me to tell you that I run this business. I am now okay. So here's a good story, right? Now, like I said, you're gonna find a lot of things in this business that just crack you up. And this was the one that, pissed me off, but it cracked me up. So I had a kiosk in Lenox and I hired some people. Now, hiring people is the worst. It's like the greatest and the worst thing you can experience as a business owner, because now you have to find like-minded people that really share your love of what you do, in their own world. So I'm like, okay, hire these people. Hired a guy who was homeless. Now, just trying to give him an opportunity, give him some money, get him started, because he was just like, I want a chance. I'm like, all right, cool, I'll help, because I need it, because he's there every day. He's like, hey, what can I do? He was really vibrant and really loved just to get out of the homeless shelter. So I was like, all right, cool. So he ended up quitting. I think I don't know, in his mind, something had happened or whatever. And so he ended up quitting, but he had booked 2 people to come on the tour before he just dipped on me. And so I was like, okay. So I ended up taking those people out the next day, and we were having a good time, and they got on the bus. They're like, oh, where's so-and-so? I was like, oh, he's back at the kiosk. He's, holding it down. And they was like, oh, okay, yeah, we really liked him. I was like, yeah, not knowing he was gonna stop fired. And so we were at Martin Luther King Museum. So they were seeing the site. So all of a sudden, here he comes around the van and was like, hey, how you doing? I was like, oh my God. So I'm so embarrassed. I was like, I just told these people that you're at the kiosk, I was like, what are you doing here? I was like, oh my God, oh Lord. And so
why was he there though?
I don't know. He was homeless, so he was running around. I don't even know how he would figure it out that we were there at that time. He was there, so it was really it was so awkward and weird. And they were like, oh, hi. I was like, I just wanted to curse him. I was like, you idiot. I just told them I just told him this big ass lie. Yeah. I was just telling you over there. And so they were like, okay. And so he's like, okay, we have to talk. So I was like, okay, well, we'll do that later. I want to tour right now, so let me just hurry up and go. And so they get in the van. As soon as they shut the van, they were like, I thought you said he was at so-and-so. I was like, oh my God. I said, well, look, he's homeless, and I'm just trying to help. You know what I'm saying? It was just really one of those situations. I was like, but here's the thing, in business though, and they gave me one of the best reviews. People really want to know. It's what I learned from Nipsey too. Nipsey Hussle. I've learned people buy from the person, not the product or something like that. People really buy the personality. So once they really seen, I'm the person answering the phones, I'm the person booking them, I'm the person at the kiosk, I'm the person running the tours, I'm doing all this. They're like, okay, this is, she's really serious about this business, And so I just refused to let one person, because of what they didn't know, what I expected out of them from that business. You're not going to run my business down to the ground, and I just created it. So customers just want to have a good time. Like I said, some people really get into my business, but it's kind of it's also one of the key things that I offer in my tours. It's an intimate experience. We really get to know each other on this tour. I had a guy come from New York. He didn't care where he was going, what he was doing, what he was eating. He just wanted to get out of the hotel. He likes riding buses. He's in New York. He likes riding buses. I guess they don't drive down there. So, okay. He just wanted to go. He just wanted that experience to where he wanted to have a conversation with me. We're talking, we're engaging, and it's just finding out about his life, where he's come from. I'm just like, that's also the great experience about this, is because sometimes tours are so big and people, they're just telling you what they wanted them to know. Some people really just want you to get to know them. And so I'm showing him the sites and I'm telling him the history, but he's also like, dang, this is one of the things that changed my life. And we offer, what a lot of people don't offer is, we have a site called Madam C.J. Walker's Museum. That used to be the old building of Martin Luther King's office. He goes in there and it's a whole bunch of records. It's everybody in there, from Tina Turner to Stevie Wonder to Diana Ross. It's all these old records on those Yeah, those like what you put on a turntable, those discs. He has a whole fuel museum. He came out of that and was like, "You touched my heart." My nephew passed away, because of COVID, and he had a whole collection of discs, like those old records and things like that. He was like, "This changed my life." And so that's also what and he just started like tearing up. I was like, oh my God, don't cry. But that's what you get on this type of tour, is a different type of experience. You get to connect with, things possibly in your past or things that you've seen on social media and the history books, and you really get to connect with them. And I'm just happy that I'm that vessel to kind of that be in between, because you don't get that experience anywhere, and so people talk, people have a good time, they eat, they see things that connect with their spirit, and they really rock out to this. So it's been a blessing.
You didn't know what you was getting into.
But yeah.
The experiences that you come in, I don't think you could have fathomed that. I think you could have thought that could happen. Could you?
No. I would say this: you don't get into business for people's reaction. I didn't get into business. I got into business because I wanted to. I don't like working for anybody else. I don't like following rules. I wanted to make up my own rules. I want to wake up when I want to. I want to work when I want to. I created out of that. And so when I got into it, like I said, the first person on my tour, she was a 30-year-old girl. She wanted to get out. She wanted to really see the sights. I knew nothing, and she just wanted to take she wanted to take risks. And so she was like, I wanted to see the city. I'm a young girl. I don't have any kids, and we just really vibing on we both 30. We don't have no kids. We having a really good time, and she loves art. And just of course, Atlanta's filled with art, pictures, visuals. You have this mural, John Lewis mural, Nipsey Hussle mural, and she really, really loved that. And so it's like, the fact that I'm kind of a part of people's understanding of where this came from, or just that time in their life, or something that they explored, or whatever the case may be, it's really like, it hasn't super hit me yet. But I think I had one person on my tour. I brought my sister on my tour, just to kind of show her history. She started crying about Martin Luther King's museum at the museum. I'm like, what are you crying for? Like, you're from LA. But she was like, we didn't come from that. We didn't come from a whole history, filled city. Like, of course LA is LA, but we just didn't come from that. So she's like, it really brings back it feels like, those days where people were picking, cotton, and then when she goes to the museum, you have cotton that somebody's picked from around the world. So it's like, it brings just these different emotions into people, and you're like, dang, I did that. Just with my intrigueness and things that I'm happy about and things that I get hype about, you like it too. So I think that's why I'm staying in business, because it affects people's lives in a good way. And I'm like, okay, I thought I was alone in my little likes, but people really love it. And so I just roll with it. Like, hey, okay.
Well, I think you're already off to a good start. Don't you think so?
Yeah.
Because eventually I'm going to re-interview you. So,
right. Like, I'll tell a lot.
We're going to check up on it eventually. So, what do you have coming up? And what are you working on? Let's just start off with social media wise.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm still in the first year. I haven't hit the first tour yet. I guess I don't really take it into account when I register the business, because when I registered the business, it was originally a smoothie company that I had. And I was like, okay, I would be a smoothie company. And then I feel like you have to mirror what your business is. And smoothie companies, weight loss and lifestyle thing, I'm like, oh, sure, I still like to eat fried chicken and stuff like that. So, and then I was like, I don't really want to do this. I gotta be in front of people and sell. This is not my thing. And so I just was like, what am I gonna do? And of course, you just ask God, what am I here for? What is my purpose? And then I really just started researching, and COVID sat me down to where I'm like, what do I want to do? Oh no, I'm lying. This was before COVID. I just kept asking myself what I wanted to do. And I think this popped up is like, you take everything from what you like to do. I like to travel. I like to, see things. I like to eat food. I like to just take pictures sometimes. And I like to do this and that. I just like to see things, be in that moment. And so I think just God kind of placed it on my heart. Like, People come and ask you, what is there to do in Atlanta all the time? I don't know. I don't do anything. Been here so long, and I'm just like, what is there to do? And so I really just started. Now this is where people say you have to write it down. Like writing something down is like the essence of the foundation, right? So it's like I seen these pictures. Now I'm not the greatest writer in the world. I stopped broadcasting because I am not the greatest writer in the world. But I took the pictures that I seen in my head and I was like, okay, I like this place, this place, this place, and this place. Wrote it down. Why is this place dope? What is this business? And then I just kind of put everything together. Later on down the line, somebody's going to create a better version for you, but just write it down, right? And so I just changed fields and said, hey, let me just create a tour that bridges everything together, old and new school Atlanta, because it's intertwined no matter what, and so that's pretty much what I have and what I'm going to be working on for the next few years, because I want to have a fleet. I want to have a fleet of tours, but also it's an intimate experience. And so I want to create different types of tours that people love, adventure tours. Of course, I'm working on some stuff that I don't want people to know about right now, but it's different types of tours that people would never expect, and it's out of a demand, and it's really a good time, because like I said, I love water, so people water tours. You go to Mexico, you have ATVs and water tours. Why not have that in Atlanta? And so it's just that type of situation where definitely taking over the whole travel tourism world and offering something different that people could not only learn from, but see, be a part of, and love themselves. So that's pretty much what I'm doing.
You had a mentor?
No. Mentors, you know what? No. I say like this. Because I came out of a.
You wanted, tried, or reached out?
No, because there's no. I have a woman who she owned a few businesses who helped me pretty much put my ideas into perspective and what could possibly happen and things like that, put it in order. But other than that, a lot of people aren't doing what I'm doing. You have to learn. I have to read books of Atlanta culture and history. So the books start off at this. And so now I'm learning and I'm not a reader. So, so now thank God for COVID. Like I said, I had to sit down and I had to read thick ass books about Atlanta history and what, cities have been through, from the 1996 Olympics to the rights riots and everything. So now I'm watching these visuals and things like that. So I think for that per se, it has become my mentor, but also I was in the broadcasting world too. So I already kind of knew how to form a script, right? So boom, that's the script for the tour. My business, like I said, I feel like business anyway is a failure. It's a trial and error. So I think that is what it is, but I don't really have mentors in this because this is not something where it's not like I'm a broadcaster where I need a person who can show me how to speak, show me how to do this and the third. I've already had that. So no, I don't really have mentors. It's just people who I'm asking, hey, can you help me? Can I bring these customers to your restaurant? Can I bring them here? Can I do this and the third? But other than that, it's really just me figuring it out.
I think it mentioned the personality.
Yeah.
Talking to anybody.
There's this misconception. And we've already talked about this. There's a misconception that I like talking to people. I am such an introvert and so nervous. There is sometimes I'm like, and I know you're looking at me, I really do not like talking to people. It makes me nervous because everybody has their idea. Like, I grew up in LA where everything, was hard, hood, you know what I'm saying? And so there is this Black girl who has this perception of speaking the way I do, which they call it the white voice. I speak white, which I really hate. And so Black girls who used to terrorize me because I wasn't Black enough, right? It's the first time I ever said this to somebody. I wasn't Black enough. And I'm like, what is Black? Like, I don't know. I could have sworn I was Black. You know what I'm saying? And and so it was just, and I really didn't get what Black was until I went to, because like I said, LA is not like a major history hub like Atlanta is. Atlanta is where the race riots happened and where Henry Grady, imposed, disenfranchised 10,000 Black men. It is LA. We rock with the Mexicans, whites, Blacks, Asians, we rock with everybody. And so when I come here to Atlanta, there's this colorism thing. I never even heard of the word colorism. It's dark skin, light skin. So I'm like, why don't Black girls like me? But I've been terrorized by Black women for a very long time. Although I don't really keep that going. I'm super, super introverted. So when people talk, I talk to them. And of course I'm in customer service and I host the tours and I'll talk and things like that. But when I go home, I probably barely say 2 words. I like quiet, so I like talking, but it's also, you talk for a reason. I don't talk just to be running my mouth, unless on my Facebook dogging somebody out, but other than that. And that's what people started to know me for. No, look, and people really be trying to get in my business. People, I stopped running, going off, because it would be the majority of my relationships that happen in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Like Atlanta has different type of men that come here and they just be doing the most. I'm like, do you really think that's okay? And so I started going off so much, people really started noticing from that. I was like, oh no, let me, until I got hit with something major. I'm just like, oh, let me shut up. Because I don't know nothing. Like, love is so weird. So I just stopped going off on my Facebook. So that's why I had to privatize the page, because I don't want nobody judging me.
Those books of culture, where did you find those?
Oh man, the library. Before COVID shut down, I was at the library tough.
It's like what's that thing called? That's in they got from A to D and
C. Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, not with it. I know what you're saying. Not like the encyclopedia. No. So sometimes, I probably found about 5 books that were catered to Georgia specifically, right? Yeah, so I found, so it wasn't a lot. I think by the time that I got to the library, because I don't really go to libraries and things like that, of course, when you're a kid, but now I'm studying for a different reason. By the time I got to the library, a lot of books were being taken out. And so there was probably only about 4 or 5 books about Georgia history. And like I said, as a broadcaster, I'm always like thinking how to figure out what is the script I'm going to say to them about? Like, I'm like, okay, yeah, here's Martin Luther King Museum, here's this and third. No, I'm only 32. People who are on my tour are like sometimes 45 and 60. They know more history than me. So I'm like, I need to be up on history so that I could be able to relate to them and understand the stories that they're hearing and they've heard before and things like that. So the books this is my favorite, this is probably my favorite book, where Peachtree meets Auburn Avenue, Peachtree Street meets Auburn Avenue, or Auburn Avenue meets Peachtree, one of those. That was a book that I read. And then, like I said, a lot of the things were understanding history. So once I got a hold of one thing, I YouTubed everything else. And then, there's another book about that. So like I said, COVID had made me sit down and really understand, like, colorism was, okay, this is Henry Grady. Oh, y'all think this is, I'm a Grady baby. No, Henry Grady didn't even like us, and so.
What is it? People who don't know what.
So like, I tell people on my tour, Henry Grady is a part of the pro-business economic era. He brought a lot of money into into Atlanta. He was a white man. He was a part of, I think, I don't want to say the year because I have to keep it in the 1900s, something like that. He was, I said, part of that pro-business economic era where his friends was Bob Woodrow of Coca-Cola, Georgia Power. Like, he knew a lot of people. But also, he did not like Black people. This is the man that has the Henry Grady Journalism School. He has Henry Grady Hospital. He has a few other things. And I'm like, okay, but when you come here as a coping mechanism, people will say, I'm a Grady baby, because my homegirl, Jackie, all day, I'm a Grady baby, Grady baby, Grady baby. And I'm like, who is Henry Grady? Because I was born in Kaiser, so I'm like, I swear, if Kaiser said something like this, I'd be so sad like that. I can't even represent Kaiser like that. But Henry Grady felt as if blacks were beneath him, or whites. Like Atlanta was a white man's town. So of course he co-owned the Atlanta Constitution with someone else, and he put out a lot of articles that disenfranchised a lot of black men. He making it seem as if black men were being raped by white women and things like to that nature. And so when I really hear people say, I'm a Grady baby, of course that's the high school, the hospital that you were born at. But I don't know if I would be saying his name too loud and proud. But hey, to each his own. Like I said, Atlanta has, their own culture. And that's another thing that I was really worried about with this business, because I'm not from Atlanta. I'm straight from LA. I am from LA, born in Kaiser, raised in the Antelope Valley. And so I'm like, who is this little girl trying to tell us about the history of Atlanta when she doesn't know here? She doesn't know anything about it. But of course, I've been here for 13 years and I've really understood, been in different places and talked to different people. And so that's why I'm like, the history of Georgia was really, really important to me, because Atlanta, if you know, Atlanta is very protective over their culture. They do not like people coming from the outside talking about Atlanta in a bad way, on top of just speaking on Atlanta, period. And so that's really what I was like, no, I have to get it right. And when I knew I got it right was C-Bone from, I think he was formerly of the Dungeon family, or he was around these Outkast, and he had different songs with Outkast, him being from Atlanta, or not specifically from Atlanta, but he's from Georgia. And so he grew up around the Outkast and Andre 3000, all those people. And he was like, Shawty, you know more than I do. I was like, wait, what? He's like, yo, like as much studying as you've done, you know more than I do. And so, of course, I did my, YouTube, and he came along and was a part of that. But he was like, I've never even been to Martin Luther King Museum, and I'm born here. And I'm just like, wait a minute. So I'm like, I'm your first time coming to this place and just hearing the history of what happened. We would swap stories. Yeah, I popped his cherry. He definitely popped mine, in reality of, I didn't know a lot about Freaknik, but what I seen on there, he was a part of Freaknik. So it was like, we really were exchanging stories about culture, and also how I got to understand the history of Georgia is because people like him, people would, be telling me this is what happened here in the 1900s. Auburn Avenue used to be the whole stroll, is what they told me. And I'm like, I don't even put that in my stuff now, in my script, but Atlanta is so diverse, and so you never think Auburn Avenue, Edgewood Avenue has so much history, but it really does. So I think that's probably like my greatest mentor is the understanding of history. It's those books.
Anybody within that sit and talk to you, talk to anybody?
Besides, like I said, C-Bone was a dope interview. I haven't.
Will you bring your?
I would do it. Like I said, I would. Yeah. I started it. Yeah. So I started, and that's what C-Bone was for. I did one with Fin and Feathers as a partner who was doing the restaurant tours with me. I just probably haven't expounded on that with bringing people. Like I said, I kind of far removed from the broadcasting world, so I didn't really want to keep dwelling on that. But it's also a thing production-wise that I definitely want to start getting into. People understand the history of Atlanta, who the hard hitters were, and things like that.
So you can sell it.
Yes, I know. I want to. It's like waiting on people's time. It's a developing situation. It's a developing situation. Yeah.
Like Martin Luther King's son, or somebody like that, or.
See, sometimes people like that, I feel like I'm not worthy. Like, I am a little black girl from LA. Like, you asking somebody. I know. Yeah. That's the worst you can say is no. But I'm definitely interested. The best thing about this is we experience Atlanta within 2 hours. A lot of Atlanta within 2 hours. People just want to come and go. People want to find where the hot spots are, which is what I do. Show them, tell them where everything is, what happened here, and we go. It's a fast-paced tour. So, if you only have 4 hours in town, sure, you can call me from the airport. Hey, can you come get me? Cool, let's go see Atlanta real quick, so you don't have to wait at this airport for 4, 5, 6 hours. 2-hour tour. Book your tour online, www.hopandgotours.com and go ahead and book. It's everything. Like I said, I really put a lot of time and effort into giving the customer a great experience. Like I said, we do pickup, we do drop-offs, we do lunch, there's street art, there's landmarks, there's everything that you know about Atlanta all in one tour. So it's a one-stop shop. So of course you can definitely book my services or book the tour, and have a good time. You can go to hopandgotours.com, or you can go to Hop and Go Tours ATL on Facebook, or Hop and Go Tours on Instagram. And or I'll accept you on my personal page. I'll depend. Because I'm wilding out on my personal page, and I am Alex Rowe for people who don't know.